Hi, I'm Paul, the Running Shoe Guru. This is Marathon Handbook, and this is my look at some of the best trail running shoes available right now. Before we go any further, Marathon Handbook is the home of independent reviews. No brands have paid us to make these reviews. These are shoes that, in my opinion, I think suit a variety of uses and purposes and runners for trail running. If I don't like an aspect of a shoe, I will point that out. Bear in mind, these are what I think are the best shoes in each particular category. So most of my comments in this particular video will be entirely positive. Now, first of all, when we think of trail running, the first thing that springs to mind is we simply want a shoe with lots of grip. When it's very muddy, and for the best grip, I'm going for the Saucony Peregrine 13, so it's a well-established shoe, and this is the ST version. So the ST standing for soft ground, and as you can see, a very aggressive lug on there. It's always been a well-received trail shoe, and in recent years it's come in a couple of variations. So you've had the regular ground version or regular trail and the soft ground having the larger stud. I think the soft ground version is a better option. It seems to work well with the combination of the Power Run foam cushioning and the deep lugs. So you really have got a shoe that can go anywhere. It can tackle wet, grass, muddy surfaces as well. In the winter, absolutely unstoppable. We have a very close-knit mesh. We'll call it water resistant, and we've got lots of rubberized sections. The rubberized sections on a trail shoe do provide durability, but also protection where you might kick rocks, tree roots, that kind of thing in the undergrowth. Because they've got this rubber bumper, you may want to go up half a size to your usual. So maybe try the shoes on. If you're a Saucony 10, you might want to try 10.5, because on a road shoe, the fabric has got a bit more give, allows the foot to move a little bit. On a trail shoe, these rubber bumpers don't. So coming down long descents, your foot may slide a little bit in the shoe. Give yourself some room. You don't want to be losing toenails. Slightly higher collar on this shoe. It's almost neoprene type feel to it. Essentially, it's a sock-like fit, that inner booty. Does keep debris out as well. So it's fastened in all the way through. You can tuck everything in, lace garage as we might call it, but it does draw up these bands incorporated into the upper. Lots of secure fit through the midfoot round there, pulls in evenly, stays secure, and that keeps the mud off it. £135 in the UK, $150 in the US. It's a 4mm drop. You've got 30mm of cushioning in the heel, 26 in the forefoot. When you're running on the trail, you are flexing your foot a little bit more. You're being more considerate of the trail, watching where your feet are going for general stability, so lower drops don't make as much of a difference. Weight, 275 grams, 9.7 ounces. You can certainly feel where everything's going on. The upper seam is very light. The bottom, thanks to those deep studs, you can tell all the weight is in the bottom of the shoe. But when you're in the shoe, it balances out nicely and it runs very well. Traction, the aggressive chevron-shaped studs, when you're descending, they bite into the ground, and you're climbing, pushing off on your toes. The forward-pointing arrows allow the shoe to bite and grip into the ground that way. So it does inspire confidence, both ascending and, most importantly, descending. So you've got great cushioning, great grip, great value, lots of protection and durability. Saucony Peregrine ST. This, I feel, is the best go-anywhere grip. VJ Sport, a Scandinavian brand. They're more well-known, I guess, in Europe for orienteering shoes. But this is the VJ Ultra 2. It's a second-generation model. And the thing about this brand of shoe that makes them stand out, and they themselves market themselves as the best grip on the planet, is the rubber that they use. Now, you're not going to be able to tell perhaps, but you can see the shine on a new shoe. This is butyl rubber. So butyl rubber is a very sticky rubber. You can almost feel the stickiness when you rub the surface of it, and certainly on wet rock in the UK, in the Lake District, a lot of the paths will be very rocky, and when that's wet, it's very slippy. This stuff is fantastic. So if your trails are like that, then the VJ really is the best grip on the planet. Butyl rubber, very sticky, very durable as well. as is the upper. This is using an aramid fibre. You can see the weave of it. It's a very strong fibre that's kind of knitted into that engineered mesh upper. Very strong, very durable. And if it's getting wet, getting muddy repeatedly, wet, dry, then you know what can happen to trail shoes like that. This stuff just keeps on going. Lots of reinforcements, lots of rubber overlays, so it does provide a lot of protection. VJ use a system called Fitlock, this band here. That provides additional medial support and holds the arch in place, so you get a very secure fit. You can negotiate technical trails. This is quite a nimble shoe, a slimmer footprint, but it feels very close and wraps around the foot thanks to the fit and the overall design and weight of the shoe. The weight is 275 grams at 9.7 ounces, £149 UK, $179 US. 22mm cushioning in the heel, 16mm in the forefoot, 6mm drop. It doesn't feel particularly high, doesn't feel particularly low. It's a very nicely balanced shoe, and it is that grip, the beauty of rubber, and the 4mm deep lugs. So they do provide good grip on lots of surfaces, but on wet rock, this is outstanding. Best grip on the planet is the VJ. Best value trail shoe, Puma Fast Track Nitro, £100, $110. 255 grams, 9 ounces, 29mm stack in the heel, 21 in the forefoot, 8mm drop. It's essentially a Puma road shoe with the Nitro foam that they've stuck a tougher upper on it and kind of ATR all-terrain version of their Puma grip rubber on the outsole. If you're just an occasional trail runner, beginner trail runner, don't want to spend a lot, want a second pair of trail shoes, this is one to go for. Very durable fabric to the upper. It's not waterproof, highly water resistant, but lots of rubberized sections as well, and nitrogen injected foam. It's really responsive. It's on firmer trails. I mean, these lugs are probably about 2 or 3mm deep, so it's not the most aggressive trail shoe, but for footpaths, like I say, occasional runners, second pair purchase if you're only going on trails now and again, then great value. Best trail shoe for ultras, Walker Stinson, and it really has taken me by surprise. The first time I've ran in a Stinson, and I love it. 42mm of stag in the heel there, lots of cushioning, but it's very stable as well. A beautifully engineered fitting upper, for me the nicest fitting hawker that I have worn, and the cushioning is fantastic. £170, $170, 365 grams, 12.9 ounces. There is a lot of shoe, but it doesn't feel too heavy on the trails, and on gravelly dirt trails, it's not for technical stuff. Then it's a kind of go anywhere general, admire the scenery, take your time. I think this is the kind of shoe that I would want for all day comfort. 42mm of stack in the heel, 5mm drop to 37 in the forefoot. It just keeps on giving when it comes to the cushioning. It's got Hawker's new H-frame construction that adds stability. So we've got this dual density kind of construction to the midsole foam. Your foot does, I'm placing my thumb inside the shoe here. Your foot sits about here, so within the shoe it's kind of encased, so it's cupped in there, a little bit like Brooks' guide rail, cups the rear foot, holds it steady. The lateral and medial edge of the foam is a little bit firmer. There's a cross section in here, so we've got the H, and that creates the stability. On the sides of the shoe, your foot sinks into the center sections, so that provides the cushioning, soaks it up, keeps it stable. The upper is really, really nice. Engineered mesh upper, reinforced overlays, not overly thick, but they do the job. Nice padding through the ankle collar. This Achilles, love that. Love how it flares away there, but it is really plush, nicely padded in the tongue as well. 4mm lugs, yeah, a little bit more traction or aggression or shape to them on the edges, so providing a stable footing and then kind of balancing it out by being not as aggressive in the middle, so you're getting comfort but grip, and it really does do the job. So for long runs, the ultimate in cushioning in trail running shoes, and for ultras, best ultra running trail shoe, Walker Stinson. The next choice for wet conditions on your usual paths, I don't mean wading through rivers or that kind of thing, but it's the Merrell Agility Eek Gore-Tex. This is the 5th generation of this shoe, and it's a shoe that I've liked in all the previous generations. I think it's a bit of a sleeper in the trail world, but this new version, which is £170, $170, with a 31mm stike in the heel, 6mm drop to 25 in the forefoot. We've got a new cushioning midsole here as well, and we've got a Vibram outsole. From the bottom up, nice aggressive studs there. I think you can tell there's plenty of grip going on there. The cushioning is, Mel call it the Float Pro midsole. Now, it feels very much like a compression molded EVA material, and at first glance I thought it was similar to previous versions, but they've done something to it. It does feel softer and it does feel springier, and it's just really comfy. It's a very surprising shoe year after year. It feels like a road shoe, but when you go off-road, you've got the confidence in that Vibram sole to give you the grip. And now, Gore-Tex upper. I am a big fan of Gore-Tex. A lot of people tell me, oh, once the water gets in, it can't get out. I've never really experienced that too much, to be honest. And if I do go this deep, then yeah, I'm prepared to get my feet wet. I will stick to the paths. It's mainly puddles and very shallow streams that I will be crossing. So Gore-Tex for me is the way to go in the winter. I think also Gore-Tex upper shoes allow you to run on the paths that I run in through the summer in the winter. When you've got a Gore-Tex shoe on, it doesn't bother me. You can do the route that you always do. If it is wet, if it's muddy, if there's big puddles, straight through. Gore-Tex, you can just run it under the tap and it's clean again as well. So I like to keep my feet dry, like to keep the shoes clean, easy to clean. Gore-Tex is the way to go for me. But this, the Merrell Agility Peak in Gore-Tex, is a great trail shoe for those wet trail runs. My next selection, trail racers. In the UK, I think people might consider trail racing shoes fell racing shoes, which are very minimalist trail shoes with very deep studs on them. This year, we've seen the advent of trail racing shoes with carbon plates. And for me, winner when it comes to racing is the Fuji Speed from Asics. The price isn't too bad, £160, $160. 257 grams, 9 ounces, and we've got 24mm cushioning in the heel, 19 in the forefoot. So it's not mega steep stike, but it is for the trails, so your foot's sat a little bit lower to the ground. That creates stability as well. Most importantly, FF Blast Plus midsole foam, and we've got a carbon plate in there as well. And on that note, why is it only 160 when the road shoes are 220 plus? Because there's a lot more going on in this shoe. We've got more in the upper, we've got more rubber in the sole, we've got the same kind of midsole and carbon plate. So come on, cut us a bit of slack, give us a better deal on these prices, please. It feels racy when it comes to a trail shoe. It's light, it's flexible, it does feel a lot more flexible when your foot's in it, and it feels very responsive. Now that grip, again, difficult to tell on the depth of it. I'd say these lugs are about 3mm deep, but the arrangement of them, the way they're spread evenly across the foot, they do offer very good traction on a lot of runnable trail surfaces, gravel, dirt tracks, that kind of stuff. It really does feel great. When you get onto firmer trails where you just want a little bit of bite for a looser surface, it does the job, and that's when the faster nature of the shoe and that responsive toe-off comes into its own. The upper is this kind of single layer mesh design, but it's kind of got a rubberized feel to it. You can see how it creases a little bit. It's not too bad when your foot's in there and padded out with the sock as well, but it's very minimal, very lightweight. There's very little padding in the tongue. Personally, I'd like a little bit more, but it's okay. Ankle collar, slim padding, neat, fits nicely. Okay, not overly padded, but this is racer, so they've kept the weight down and it feels good. So for racing on the trails, if it is relatively dry, I would say that this is the way to go. It's a lightweight racing shoe with a little bit of traction that does the job. And finally, it's the Nike Ultrafly Trail. I think we expected this shoe to be a trail version of the Vaporfly, but ultimately it isn't. It does have the Zoom X foam in there. It does have a carbon plate, but it doesn't offer the same energized, highly propulsive experience as the Vaporfly does on the road. That might be a little bit disappointing, but it doesn't make the shoe a bad shoe. And for me, it's a great shoe for easy running longer distances on light trails and a variety of surfaces. It's almost like a trainer version of the Vaporfly. You get some cushioning, you get some propulsion, but you get a versatile, hard-wearing, Vibram outsole as well. You can do short stretches of road in the shoe, but you can run on the trails in it. So it's a go anywhere, more usable Vaporfly. £230, $250. Yes, it is expensive. A lot of shoes are. If you can afford it, it is a treat. 300 grams, 10.5 ounces in weight, 38.5 mil in the heel, 30 mil in the forefoot, so we've got an 8.5 mil drop. Lugs are about 3 millimeters in depth. It's roomier. It's a broader fit in the forefoot than the Vaporfly. That allows the foot to spread and creates some stability on the trails as well. Midfoot is snugger, so that holds the foot here. This lacing, first I did have reservations about it. I did think it was a kind of a cheaper construction, but that said, it does provide the support through the midfoot and it does work very well. It's comfortable, so it's fine. This single layer ripstop mesh construction, gently rubberized, not too restrictive, provides a little bit of added protection. The Ultrafly Trail, a great, smooth riding, responsive, versatile trail shoe, light trails, and can cross over to the roads. So that's it, yeah, my selection of the best trail shoes right now. As always, please follow, please like the video, and any questions, comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.